conflict in West Asia. They're shooting now in Tel Aviv on the border with Jaffa with a high number of casualties. In fact, Israeli media is reporting that at least 3 people are dead and over 10 persons have been injured. Meanwhile, the cabinet meeting is going on inside a bunker in Jerusalem, while Israeli Foreign Ministry has tweeted, and I quote, "A short while ago, missiles were launched from Iran towards the state of Israel. Israelis are instructed to remain alert and precisely follow the home front command's instructions." Joining me now is my colleague Mohammad Ghazali. Ghazali, tell us what exactly is this attack all about? And this comes even as there are speculations of a conflict in West Asia. Tell us, how is Israel looking at this and what do we know on this so far?
See, today morning only the U.S. State Department and Defense Department basically spoke to their counterpart in Israel and sort of hinted that perhaps Iran will retaliate today due to the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, the Hezbollah Secretary General, who was killed last week in an Israeli attack in Lebanon. To retaliate and to revenge the attack, Iran has going against all the speculations and what everybody was expecting, that perhaps Iran will not drag itself into the war. This year, this is the second time that Iran has launched more than 100 missiles towards Israel, and minutes before these missiles launched from Iran, shooting and stabbing attack also happened in the city of Tel Aviv, and around 4 people have been killed, many injured. 2 terrorists who were involved in this have been neutralized, but as of now the entire country is in an emergency situation, and you can hear the siren sounds across the country. In most parts of the country, people have been advised to go into the bomb shelter or the bunker. Even right now, cabinet security meeting which had to decide about retaliation against Iran is undergoing in Jerusalem in a bomb shelter as well. So right now, it is what was anticipated after the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, that perhaps Iran will not react or retaliate now, because all this while the statement from the spokesperson's Foreign Ministry's office was hinting that perhaps Iran will wait and watch and may retaliate later. But perhaps the public pressure or the pressure from Hezbollah itself, from Lebanon, which is facing a war with Israel, Iran chose to retaliate right now, and they have launched the missiles, and perhaps in 5 to 10 minutes is what we are being told, because these missiles were seen crossing the sky in Iraq, and right now people are expecting, it is expected that perhaps these missiles will reach Israeli airspace in some time from now.
Thank you, Ghazali, for joining us with those critical details. Clearly, Iran-Israel war, that conflict is escalating. Bombings and, of course, Tel Aviv shootings have happened there. We'll get you all those details. Meanwhile, Israel has also tweeted that the IDF is doing and will do everything necessary to protect the civilians in the state of Israel. That's what Israel has tweeted. Moving on to some more news from India. Poll-bound states elections have now ended in Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, this is the first set of elections that took place after 10 years. Voter turnout of 65.5% was recorded in the third and final phase of assembly elections. Remember, this was the largest phase of elections with 40 seats going to polls. There were 415 candidates in fray for 40 constituencies. 24 of them fell under Jammu division, which is why Jammu was the focus of this election. And of course, the remaining seats were in Kashmir, particularly the northern part of Kashmir.
It has certainly boosted the overall voter percentage, but has not been able to match the 2014, turnout, which was 66% overall in Jammu and Kashmir Assembly election. That too, despite boycott calls. What was most remarkable thing about this elections, it was free from any sort of violence. Number 2, boycott calls by any separatist group. Rather, separatist groups who were calling boycott in the past were participating in these elections. That makes this election really watershed moment for the political process in Jammu and Kashmir. More than who wins or who loses, this election was all about revival of democracy in Jammu and Kashmir that was in a suspended animation for last more than 5-6 years. So political revival and revival of politics is a great thing, and people were at the center of every discourse, and they set the discourse, and politicians and the leaders had to listen. For last 5-6 years, we have seen only the government bureaucrats talking about, and for last this election, people started talking about, and they were at the center of every discourse, and people were listening to them. Politicians were listening to them, and government was listening to them, and trying to address their demands, make promises in their manifesto and in their speeches. Finally, people have given their verdict today in a great way. there was 65%, more than 65% turnout across 40 assembly constituencies, which holds the key actually who would be at the driver's seat in the next assembly and who will be able to form the government. In Jammu region, it has been a bastion or the stronghold of the BJP. BJP has tried their best to win maximum seats. It has the opponent was the Congress, because Congress as part of NC Congress alliance was contesting most of the seats in this part of the Jammu. While as in the valley, it has been largely National Conference which had a sway, and they have been claiming that they could be the single largest party, if not the absolute majority in the next assembly in Jammu and Kashmir. Having said that, we have seen it, there have been many firsts in this election. I have in fact spoke to several people during the day. Among them were people who I got the right to vote for the first time since because of the abrogation of Article 370. But the same people who celebrate abrogation of 370 were today saying that there should be 371 in Jammu and Kashmir so that outsiders cannot buy land and get their share in the jobs.
So Jammu and Kashmir elections are over. Jammu and Kashmir looking at a new dawn of democracy, electoral democracy. We of course will know the outcome on the 8th of October. Moving on to other important news, this time from the south of India, from Tamil Nadu. In an unfortunate incident, parents of a minor rape survivor were allegedly assaulted by cops. In fact, the parents have alleged that a police inspector assaulted them. Madras High Court has ordered a CBI probe into this assault case. Let me also remind the viewers that a police inquiry had found the parents' allegations to be false in this case. Moving on, junior doctors in West Bengal demanding better security at state-run hospitals after the rape and murder of their colleague at a medical college in Kolkata have resumed their total cease work today. In fact, the suspension of work began at 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning as the doctors alleged that there was no positive approach from the state government to fulfill their demands for a safe workplace.
আপনাদের সবার মনে আজ অজস্র প্রশ্ন রয়েছে। মুখ্য সচিবকে দুইবার ইমেল করেছিলাম।
Junior doctors in West Bengal back on strike as they say their security demands have not been met by the state government despite their repeated assurances.
12 দিন পেরিয়ে গেলেও দৃশ্যমান কোনো পরিবর্তন আমরা দেখতে পাইনি। এমনকি সাগর দত্তের ঘটনা সম্পর্কে তিনি সুপ্রিম কোর্টে দাঁড়িয়েও মিথ্যাচার করে গেছেন। সমস্ত ঘটনার দায়ভার চাপিয়েছেন জুনিয়র ডাক্তারদের উপরে। আমরা এও মনে করি স্বাস্থ্য দপ্তরের অপদার্থতা বা সক্রিয় মদত ছাড়া এই প্রবল দুর্নীতি অসম্ভব।
The doctors came up with a list of 10 demands that includes setting up of a centralized referral system and a bed vacancy monitor, apart from the old demand of the removal of the health secretary, who was present at the Supreme Court hearing.
But the irregularities which are noticed in the context of the RG report.
On Monday, the top court rapped Bengal government for the tardiness in installing CCTVs and building toilets.
As a state government, have you taken any call on any disciplinary action against
Well,
any
we
other
were told
person?
about 5 doctors. They have been suspended. Action have been taken. Rest, if CBI, as and when they tell us something specific against them, or that they have been made accused, because investigation is very wide.
Also among the demands were elections in student councils, which the Supreme Court did not get into despite repeated appeals from the junior doctors' lawyers. The state government says that the work is already in progress.
আপনারা জানেন মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রী সব ডিস্ট্রিক্টের প্রিন্সিপালস এমএসবিপি হেলথ ডিপার্টমেন্টের অফিসিয়ালসদের সঙ্গে রিভিউ করেছিলেন। সব জায়গায় কাজ শুরু হয়েছে এবং কোথাও 30%, কোথাও 40, কোথাও 60, কোথাও 70 বিভিন্ন স্তরে কাজ হচ্ছে এবং একটা কাজ করতে গেলে কিছুটা সময় লাগে। আপনার সিসিটিভিও লাগাতে গেলে কিছুটা সময় লাগবে।
Meanwhile, after resuming their strike, the joint platform of doctors held a rally in Kolkata to protest a rape murder of a trainee medic at Arjikar Hospital from College Square in North Kolkata to Rabindra Sadan in the south.
A protest by junior doctors in the heart of Kolkata, marching from College Square to Rabindra Sadan, and of course reiterating some of their old demands while adding some new ones as they announced their cease work protest. The protest, the doctors say, will continue till their conditions are met, while the state government says work is already on to meet their demands. With camera person Aniruddha Tripathi in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Campaigning peaks in Haryana as top leaders campaign in the poll-bound state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has hit out at the Congress party, saying that the party is overconfident like it was in Madhya Pradesh elections. Rape convict Ram Rahim gets a 20-day parole. In fact, Congress has opposed this right and has written to Election Commission citing Model Code of Conduct, saying Ram Rahim could influence voters and also impact election fairness. West Bengal junior doctors have resumed their indefinite strike today, claiming the government has not provided them promised security. They have criticized CBI's slow probe in the Ajikar Medical College rape and murder case. After some tough words from the Supreme Court over Delhi's pollution crisis, anti-pollution panel finally gets acting, deploys several flying squads to take action against double burning in Haryana and Punjab.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है। तो आज ही पैसाबाजार.com पर जाइए और अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक कीजिए फ्री में, क्योंकि लोन की जरूरत कभी भी किसी को भी पड़ सकती है। बस एक्टिंग करा लो इनसे। पैसाबाजार.com, क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक, आदत अच्छी है।
For every news from every part of the country, डाउनलोड कीजिए NDTV ऐप। सिर्फ एक ऐप जो आपको बताता है क्या हो रहा है in the world of business, politics, sports and entertainment. देखना ना भूलें हमारी मूवी युद्रा in the theatre. Read all about Yudra on the NDTV app. So download now.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है। तो आज ही अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक करें फ्री में पैसाबाजार.com पर। लोन की जरूरत कभी भी किसी को भी पड़ सकती है।
ठीक से एक्टिंग नहीं।
पैसाबाजार.com।
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पर डिपेंड करता है। आज ही जाइए पैसाबाजार.com पर और अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक कीजिए फ्री में, क्योंकि लोन की जरूरत किसी को भी कभी भी पड़ सकती है।
चल एक्टिंग थोड़ा भेल बनो।
ये आया बात बोल। पैसाबाजार.com।
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Hello and welcome to the last word. Our big focus today, junior doctors in West Bengal protesting the rape and murder of a colleague at Kolkata's RG Court Hospital have resumed their indefinite strike from today morning, pressing once again for demands that include ensuring safety and security of medical professionals at all hospitals and clinics in the state, alleging the promises that were made by the state government have not been fulfilled. The state has, however, said that work to improve safety at hospitals is underway and being done in phases. Today on The Last Word, we're asking Bengal junior doctors cease work again. Who is to blame for the unfulfilled demands? So that's the big discussion today on the show. First, let's take a look at this report on all the developments through the day.
Junior doctors in West Bengal back on strike as they say their security demands have not been met by the state government despite their repeated assurances.
12 দিন পেরিয়ে গেলেও দৃশ্যমান কোনো পরিবর্তন আমরা দেখতে পাইনি। এমনকি সাগর দত্তের ঘটনা সম্পর্কে তিনি সুপ্রিম কোর্টে দাঁড়িয়েও মিথ্যাচার করে গেছেন। সমস্ত ঘটনার দায়ভার চাপিয়েছেন জুনিয়র ডাক্তারদের উপরে। আমরা এও মনে করি স্বাস্থ্য দপ্তরের অপদার্থতা বা সক্রিয় মদত ছাড়া এই প্রবল দুর্নীতি অসম্ভব।
The doctors came up with a list of 10 demands that includes setting up of a centralized referral system and a bed vacancy monitor, apart from the old demand of the removal of the health secretary who was present at the Supreme Court hearing.
But the irregularities which are noticed in the context of the RG Court.
On Monday, the top court rapped Bengal government for for the tardiness in installing CCTVs and building toilets.
As a state government, have you taken any call on any disciplinary action against
Well,
any
we
other
were
person?
told about 5 doctors. They have been suspended. Action have been taken. Rest, if CBI, as and when they tell us something against them, or that they have been made accused, because investigation is very wide.
Also among the demands were elections in student councils, which the Supreme Court did not get into despite repeated appeals from the junior doctors' lawyers. The state government says that the work is already in progress.
আপনারা জানেন মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রী সব ডিস্ট্রিক্টের প্রিন্সিপালস এমএসবিপি হেলথ ডিপার্টমেন্টের অফিসিয়ালসদের সঙ্গে রিভিউ করেছিলেন সব জায়গায় কাজ শুরু হয়েছে এবং কোথাও 30%, কোথাও 40, কোথাও 60, কোথাও 70 বিভিন্ন স্তরে কাজ হচ্ছে এবং একটা কাজ করতে গেলে কিছুটা সময় লাগে আপনার সিসিটিভিও লাগাতে গেলে কিছুটা সময় লাগবে
Meanwhile, after resuming their strike, the joint platform of doctors held a rally in Kolkata to protest the rape murder of a trainee medic at RG Hospital from College Square in North Kolkata to Rabindra Sadan in the south.
A protest by junior doctors in the heart of Kolkata, marching from College Square to Rabindra Sadan, and of course reiterating some of their old demands while adding some new ones as they announced their cease work protest. The protest, the doctors say, will continue till their conditions are met, while the state government says work is already on to meet their demands. With camera person Aniruddha Tripathi in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
So the discussion today on the show, Bengal junior doctors cease work again. Who is to blame for unfulfilled demands? On the panel tonight with us, Sushmita Dev, a Trinamool Congress and national spokesperson and member of Rajya Sabha, Priyanka Tibrewal, spokesperson of the BJP, Shikha Mukherjee, senior journalist from Kolkata, Dr. Kanchan Mukherjee, vice president, West Bengal Doctors Forum, and Dr. Aqib Ashraf, representative, West Bengal Junior Doctors Front. Dr. Ashraf, I'd like to begin with you. The last time around when you called off this strike, the cease work, it took several rounds of discussions and finally with the Chief Minister herself, and finally you called off the strike. Now once again you have called for the cease work. What will it take to get the junior doctors back to work?
Why we call cease work is the reason that when we held a meeting with the authorities, we were ensured that if you go back to work, your demands will be met. And there were a list of demands which were both include welfare of the doctors and welfare of the patients as well. So when we went back to our work, when we were working in emergency in Shagardatta Medical College at around 6 p.m., 10 to 20 people barged into the 4th floor of a female ward, and they absolutely locked the door and held onto the female resident. And the police personnel were nowhere to be seen. There were only civic volunteers, and to uselessness of that, they were grouped these staffs wearing a uniform of commandos. All these incidents, when we were ensured that nothing will happen, and these incidents took place. And another incident which we are very dissatisfied about is the justice for Abhaya, which has been our primary objective when we started this movement. Every time when we go on the street, it is for the justice of Abhaya as our primary demand. When we hear that it is being delayed, and when we see that the dates in the Supreme Court are given after 15-20 days, it is being changed again. And on the day of hearing, we get only 40 minutes of a hearing slot. This is the most important concerning matter of the country. Every working woman, every family is looking up to it. 140 crore people are looking up to it. And this is how we are being responded by the authorities. It brings a very disheartening. It feels very disheartening to us. And another
one can understand the concerns that you have, and of course safety of doctors and safety of women is something that's of paramount concern. But what of what the Chief Secretary said, that it takes time to make those changes to ensure that safety, also that the West Bengal government and authorities have been caught up with flooding that's also taken place, so it is taking time. What would you say to that, and what is one immediate step that the government can take to at least get you back at work?
See, for instance, the Chief Secretary here, sir, has said that 70% work has been done in some instances. We beg to differ, and we have also heard the Supreme Court hearing. So few of the works have been like 16% and 30%, not even 15%, not even 50% mark. This was the official government data in the Supreme Court. When we look at the ground reality, the situation is even worse. We were forced to join a committee which was known as stakeholders committee. When we asked our principal that what is this committee for, there were no written directives about it. We refused to join it because there was no role defined. There was nothing about student representative as a definitive role in an official order. It has no official order. So we refused to join anything which has official order. And this particular thing was represented in Supreme Court to show that this we have taken for further steps. But when you go look at the ground reality, nothing has been happened because Sagar Datta incident itself proves that nothing has happened.
All right, and you're also unhappy with the CBI probe as well as the Supreme Court. Your, their comments about the Supreme Court also. Sushmita Dev, your response to this, it had taken, as we said, several rounds of meetings to finally get the doctors to call off the strike. But now, once again, they claim not enough is being done, and as of this morning, have gone back on at C's work.
You see, the Chief Secretary is on record saying that things are in process. I understand that, the doctors want the pace to be better and faster and things to happen very quickly. But you see, when you are building on infrastructure, when you allot 100 crore rupees, government has systems. They do a tender. They have to buy the CCTV cameras. So what is taking long is procedural. It's not lack of conviction. Here we have a chief minister who did her best to break the impasse between the doctors and the government. I have not known a chief minister to remove officers at such high levels to win the confidence of the doctors. And like the chief secretary said, I join him in appealing to the doctors that, yes, you must fight for justice for Abhaya. There's no doubt about it that the CBI investigation is taking much, much longer than anyone expected. But I hope that we can deal with it with some patience. As you know, there was a hearing in the Supreme Court, and the state government in Supreme Court gave a status report of what is happening and what is yet to be done, and took time till 15th of October to complete most of the work. And in the doctor's lawyer actually made a statement in court saying that they are going to get back to work, that they were already doing emergency services, to which the Supreme Court said, not the state government, that they had to go back to full-fledged work with OPD services, not because there's a point to be proved by either party, but it's just in greater public interest so that the patients don't suffer. Add to that the fact that the entire administration at this point of time in Bengal is fighting a man-made flood situation. 70% of Bengal is flooded. So I totally understand how doctors feel. But like the Chief Secretary of Bengal said, that give us time, it will all be done. It's not lack of conviction. There are delays for reasons beyond our control.
All right, Priyanka Tibrewal, the doctors have also criticized the CBI and the slow pace of the investigation there. They want justice for the junior doctor who was, the horrific case of of rape and murder that took place. Also, they have questioned, some frustration they've expressed about the Supreme Court and the manner in which the hearing is taking place there as well.
Well, I will join the doctors on that because you see, CBI is an independent agency and they should investigate in the matter. There should not be any kind of callous approach. And if there is being any callous approach, then the courts are going very strongly. They are coming on the CBI. That's what we've seen in the Shalda court also. And I think that should be the demand as of now. But as far as what I was hearing, what the state government is saying, that because of the tender procedure, they are not being able to fulfill the security procedures in the hospital. Now, this is which is not acceptable. Why I tell you? Because when biomedical waste products are sold and smuggled in the market, you did not flaunt any tender. when body organs from the dead bodies which were sent to the morgue here. And you may say that, all this is there. People were talking about this. There were reports on this. Then also no tenders were flouted. But here, they need tenders. And for how many cameras do you want us to believe the state of West Bengal is so incompetent that they do not have money to put 350 cameras in a hospital? Now, this is unacceptable. What were the demands of the doctor? Out of 10 demands, the 3 major demands were strengthening hospital security, improving the health infrastructure, and putting an end to the threat and political culture in the medical college. Now, all this is related to the law and order issue in a state. So when the state government is failing, you see, because just next to this, another incident has happened. The government has no answer to it. So what kind of protection this government is going to give? Now they were talking
That's
about
right, and these incidents do happen not just in Bengal but in other parts of the country, and that is the overall demand of the doctors, of unions elsewhere as well, that they want better security at all hospitals across the country. But yes, on the other points that you have made, Sushmita Dev, your response to that?
Listen, I am not going to take sermons from a party that has just arrested a group of 150 people who are walking peacefully from Ladakh by 1,000 police officers and called the protesting farmers terrorists. So please don't lecture me on your, you have absolutely no moral rights. This debate is about, it's about a crisis that is being caused in Bengal. And now, if she's going to interrupt, then let's
right, Priyanka Tibrewal, just let her complete her point. You made several points there. You made several points. Just let Sushmita Dev complete the point.
It makes no difference to me. I am not, please, I didn't interrupt while she was talking. Don't get upset.
Go ahead.
Because truth hurts, I know that. But what I'm saying is, what is important here is, as we speak, I'm just seeing on the official handle of the government that they've set up a state-level grievance redressal committee according to what the doctors have demanded. The state government has not once said that what the doctors are demanding are unacceptable to us or are unreasonable to us. But you see, if you look at the letter that they've issued today, there's a slight shift in the demands from what they had negotiated with the Honorable Chief Minister of Bengal. Be that as it may, this is not the time for the doctors and the state government to be bickering. If they are anxious, we understand it. What I said about the tenders, just by way of an example. Now, if you want to debate on corruption, I can also go on and on.
All right, well, let's get the other panelists in.
Let's not get into that.
Right, Dr. Kanchan Mukherjee, the West Bengal Doctors Forum also supporting the junior doctors here. But if you can, we also want some middle path. We want some sort of impasse, and it has taken many rounds of discussions. What is your take on this? What needs to be done?
Well, we belong to a profession where we have been trained specially to save lives. We have not been trained to save ourselves that way. We have to trust on the state machinery the way for our own protection, just the same way that we would trust our state machinery for supply of beds, supply of medicines, and the infrastructure. Now, this has been a systematic failure. Now, if I jog my colleagues' memory that this violence is not new, it is nothing new. In 2008, we had to file a PIL with the High Court, and there we had given a number of cases which was going on in the state for violence against the doctors. But we have not seen any action. Unfortunately, the legal course is taking long, which is nothing new to us. But what is the step being taken by the state government? Yesterday, we have heard only a quarter of CCTV cameras have been installed. Even a third of the lighting facility have not been installed yet in the different hospitals. And it is not just RG Hospital. The violence keeps on happening unabated. Even today, we have heard about 3 different incidents. Now, if things go on like this, what else can the junior doctors do? I think we are in total moral support with their action. They have shown extreme maturity in the last 8 or 9 weeks, and we trust them with their decisions. They are coming through their GB meetings, and we, the seniors, are there to fill the gaps, if any. But please do not tell the people that it is because of their siege work, people are dying. We are not ready to accept that. It does not happen like that.
But there is some impact on the health services, and that's a concern for everyone, for all of us, for the government, for you, for the media as well.
Of course, there will be some impact, but we the seniors are there to fill the gaps the way we have been doing in the last nearly couple of months. So what else do we have? Nothing else really.
All right, Shikha Mukherjee, I'd like you to come in here to just comment on, the fact that the doctors' protest initially went over it was over a month, and then finally, after several rounds of talks, they came to some agreement. Certain points were accepted by the government. The government, heaving a sigh of relief, given that it is also Pujo right now, and of course, in Kolkata, we know that a lot of things are being organized and pandals are being organized, etc. But now again, the doctors are, going back on the strike because the government has not been able to at least fulfill the demands that they wanted. They feel the pace of the security, etc., is just not happening.
Well, several things. First and foremost, I think it is unfortunate that the doctors have gone back to not working. That is the most unfortunate part of it, because public health services are public health services, and the services are something that the people pay out of their pockets for. They pay taxes in order to get those services. Any deficit in that service is an act which is against the people, number one. Number two, not all the doctors are in agreement about the way of about the course of the agitation or the course of the movement, about the decisions that have been taken. There are, they have meetings which go on for hours because there is disagreement.
Yes, I believe it went on for 8 hours, the meeting they had.
That's
when they
right. No, but let me finish very
Sure.
briefly. The fact is that the Shagor Doctor incident was a case of alleged malpractice. Now, alleged malpractice, and I heard Dr. Mukherjee just now saying that they're doing their best. We deliver flawless service. That's rubbish. The world over, there are issues of malpractice. Yes, the courts have to take their time. There is no way in which a junior doctors movement is going to pressurize the Supreme Court to get a move on faster, because that is not their priority. The Supreme Court has its own priorities. The junior doctors may not be the top priority of the Supreme Court. The CBI, let them go and pressure the CBI about the investigation. Why are they stopping work when out of their two major grievances, one is against the Supreme Court, the other one is against the pace of investigation, they're only piling on to the state government? Why? Is there something that they think they can extract? Let me ask you, that day that there was a disruption in the hospital, there are other staff working in the hospital, they are not on strike. They have not taken to the streets. They are not threatening people that we are going to deny you the services that you require. There is a limit that, and this is the political problem. Mamata Banerjee is not willing to take it on and confront the situation.
Several concessions were made, certain demands were met, the commissioner was changed, and several officials were changed the last time around. Now one of the demands is the removal of the health secretary as well. And so 10 more demands have now been placed before the government.
But, I don't know whether you're asking me this question, but let me answer this anyway. First and foremost, shifting goalposts is ridiculous. This is not a responsible way of negotiation. Yes, you have Mamata Banerjee's government on the back foot. Therefore, you are going to raise all kinds of issues and all kinds of demands, and then disrupt services. This is the problem that I have. I've been reading these comments. Let me just give an example. This is puja time. In any case, work pressure eases. People don't come to the hospital. Now, what kind of statement is this from doctors? This is completely irresponsible.
All right, let me get a response now. Dr. Aqib Ashraf, your response to this, the shifting of goalposts, and also the fact that not all doctors are agreeable. One has heard that it took 8 hours of a meeting to finally, come out with these demands. And just to say, of course, we believe that doctor safety is paramount, women's safety is paramount, and you held a protest over a month long already, but now again to call this indefinite strike.
No, first of all, we have to understand that what we discuss in the GB is because there are 30 medical colleges and we take points from each and every one. And there can be disagreements and agreements on how we continue it and what not. But when we come as a West Bengal Junior Doctor Fronts, we always come together. There is a democracy inside the GB because not a single person cannot take the decision. That is why, for opinion of everyone, it takes that much time. So what is harm in that? We think, we retaliate, we ponder, and then we take the decision. So that is our strength, and that is not a fallacy as far as we know. And second of all, that shifting of the goalposts, these all the demands we have made twice after the meeting when we joined work. These particular demands are an extension of how to improve the healthcare for the doctors as well as the patients. These points we put in front of the Chief Secretary. These are the points we put in front of Madam Chief Minister. So this is not the shifting of goalposts, because after that point of time, when we resumed work and when we have started working, another incident happened and none of our grievances were met. We demanded that there should have been an ICC and student representatives in it. There are multiple student bodies that are needed to be formed in particular colleges, and the threat culture which is blooming. In fact, in the Supreme Court, it is also said that West Bengal Medical Council, the post holders and the particular people in peripheral colleges and all the colleges are a part of threat culture. They have been threatening students on and on.
All right,
and
so, a lot of grievances, demands, doctors saying their demands aren't met. Sushmita Dev, now what would the priority of the government be? It is Pujo time as well. At the same time, doctors very unhappy with the pace in which, steps are being taken to improve their security. There has been yet another incident. And let's also admit that these incidents are happening across India. So we do need doctors to have better security.
See, security for doctors is not just an issue for Bengal. It's a worldwide phenomena where, they think the outcome of the treatment is sometimes directly the doctor's fault, which is not the case. They can be a serious case. Now, the fact of the matter is that there are two task forces here. One which has been set up by the Supreme Court of India, and the second task force is under the Chief Secretary of the state of Bengal. Now, all I'm saying is that if today the doctors feel that the pace is slow and they're taking to the streets and they are not going to work, after saying in the Supreme Court that they are going to work, and the Supreme Court telling them they are, all I can appeal to them is that it is the general public who's suffering the most. This is an essential service. So we are requesting you, I ask the doctors that put your hand on your heart and tell me that it was a huge step for the Chief Minister of Bengal to remove officers at senior levels, declaring what she was going to do. And the Supreme Court is constantly monitoring it.
All right, one quick word I want from Dr. Kanchan Mukherjee. I have to wrap this. Your one, final comments from you.
Can you tell me one person, being a non-medic or medic, would go to his workplace where there is direct threat of physical violence? Will you? No, you will not. If you are a political representative, if you are an elected representative, you hire the official security. The police force is there to back you up. For us, it is only the semi-trained, half-trained, non-trained civic volunteers that we get. My learned co-panelists here, do you know that there is a legislation in place, West Bengal Medicare Act 2009, Has
Right.
anybody been booked
All right,
in
well,
the last 10
I have to
days?
leave it there. I'm completely out of time. But yes, again,
Workplace.
steps need to be taken for doctor security. It's not just a West Bengal problem. It is a problem across the country. Junior doctors in West Bengal back on a strike as they say not enough is being done about their security. This after just a few days ago, this entire matter had been resolved in a sense. It was the impasse had been, a solution had been found after Mamata Banerjee met with the doctors. But once again, junior doctors back on strike. What will it take to end this strike? Well, that's it from me. That's it from The Last Word.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है। तो आज ही पैसाबाजार.com पर जाइए और अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक कीजिए फ्री में, क्योंकि लोन की जरूरत कभी भी किसी को भी पड़ सकती है। बस एक्टिंग करा लो इनसे। पैसाबाजार.com, क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक, आदत अच्छी है।
For every news from every part of the country, डाउनलोड कीजिए NDTV ऐप। सिर्फ एक ऐप जो आपको बताता है क्या हो रहा है in the world of business, politics, sports and entertainment. देखना ना भूलें हमारी मूवी युद्रा in the theatre. Read all about Yudra on the NDTV app. So download now.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पर डिपेंड करता है। आज ही जाइए पैसाबाजार.com पर और अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक कीजिए फ्री में, क्योंकि लोन की जरूरत किसी को भी कभी भी पड़ सकती है।
चल एक्टिंग थोड़ा भेल बनो।
पैसाबाजार.com।
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है। तो आज ही अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक करें फ्री में पैसाबाजार.com पर। लोन की जरूरत कभी भी किसी को भी पड़ सकती है।
ठीक से एक्टिंग नहीं।
पैसाबाजार.com।
Election sunrise is on the proverbial paradise. Jammu and Kashmir gets set to vote in assembly elections after a gap of 10 years.
For the BJP, it's a referendum on Article 370. For the Congress and regional parties, it's a battle for survival. An election that will go down in the history. Watch the most comprehensive, the most nuanced, and the most power-packed coverage only on NDTV.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Iran has launched a missile attack on Israel. Air raid sirens are sounding across Israel and civilians have been able to shelter. India issues advisory for citizens in Israel. ED will be questioning Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah on the 3rd of October after ED files a case against him. Meanwhile, Muda Chief says that he will take back the land offered by the CM's wife, but the probe shall continue. Rape convict Ram Rahim gets 20-day parole. In fact, Congress has opposed this, written a letter to the Election Commission citing Model Code of Conduct, saying that Ram Rahim could be influencing voters, also impacting the election fairness process. Campaigning peaks in Haryana as top leaders campaign in the state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hits out at the Congress party, saying that they are overconfident like the party was during Madhya Pradesh elections. West Bengal's junior doctors resumed their indefinite strike today, claimed that government has not provided them with the promised security. They have criticized CBI's slow probe in the RG Medical College rape and murder case. Well, in what seems like an escalation of the ongoing Israel-Iran conflict, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has said that it has fired dozens of missiles at Israel in response to the killing of people in Gaza, as well as Hamas and Hezbollah leaders. Now, the Israeli military has also urged people in the country to stay in protected area until further notice. In fact, Israeli Foreign Ministry has tweeted, and I quote, "A short while ago, missiles were launched from Iran towards the state of Israel. Israelis are instructed to remain alert and precisely follow the Home Front Command's instructions." Meanwhile, India has also issued an advisory for citizens in Israel, ensuring their